I'm going to move the staff recommendations and speak in support of them. And I want to speak positively about what we're doing here because I think it's aspirational, I think it's important, I think it's practical, I think it's going to be very helpful. But I will take a moment, just in the spirit of accountability being shared all the way around, to say to my friend opposite here, who I think doesn't miss an opportunity to be hypercritical, that if you want to be measured by what you do, then the number of affordable housing units started and approved by this council in the last years before I was here, when you were here, was 0. The transit equity progress that was made on implementing any measure of transit equity and any kind of a fare pass, 0. Poverty reduction strategy, there wasn't one. Revenue enhancement measures that are put forward for consideration by City Council to try and create revenue, to create transit, to allow people to be connected to opportunity, 0. And so I'm actually proud that we're moving some of these things forward. And I've heard the deputies today, and I'm moving these staff recommendations so that you know and the public know that I am personally going to be invested in and supporting moving these things forward, because I think it's very important for our city. But I also want you to know that I come from a world where you do as much as you can, and I follow along, and I want to thank the Deputy Mayor McConnell for the fact that she's done all the work and continues to do the work and continues to push people like me to do as much as we can. But you can only do as much as you can, and there is much more to be done. And so I looked very hard at this report to see about the discounts that are recommended here at 33%, and that clock can't be right. Did you reset? No, I haven't been speaking for 4 minutes and 50 seconds.
Oh, you forgot to turn his time on.
Oh, there it is. Okay. I looked at the discounts, and indeed there are a couple of places, one of which is Calgary, another of which is Paris, that have much higher discounts. But I also look at the design of the program, and I was glad to hear Mr. Brillinger make reference to it, because we are looking at a breadth of a program and the inclusion of people who might not otherwise fit into the program because they're not necessarily on a support program at the moment. And I think that is a very important feature of our program, but that does to some extent limit, if you're going to do a lot more people, unless you live in Councillor Perk's world, if you're going to do a lot more people, you might not be able to do quite as much in the initial instance. And I'm proud of the fact we're starting the program. We're going to roll it out prudently and responsibly, and the main reason for the timing is exactly what Mr. Brillinger said. And I told this to all of our Property Advisory Committee members, which was that we cannot do this effectively until the Presto card is fully implemented and stable. And it's not at the moment, but it will be in time for this first phase to be done next year. I was also very happy to hear somebody, I think it was Dr. Farber, refer to the evaluation process. This is important, that we see that not only we can say we have a program, but that it's effective. It is helping people to get to job interviews. It's helping people get to the doctor. It's helping them keep employment, and so on. And the process that's provided for here, yes, it's done in a careful way in the sense that we're not saying, well, let's just open the whole thing up and do it on day one. But it is something that is a careful process that will allow us by the end of the third phase to have a very large number of people relative to any of the other examples. Any of the other examples in this book had a few thousand people in their programs because they restrict it to a very narrow group of people. And so I just want to say that I'm proud that we're moving forward with these programs. It's never fast enough. It's never enough. The discount is never deep enough. I understand that. You'd like to do a lot more. But at the end of the day, I think we're doing something substantial here. And I will say with respect to the poverty reduction plan as a whole, that we are moving forward on all of these elements. Maybe not as fast as the need would dictate, but we're moving forward as fast as we can on housing. We're actually doing something. We're actually hundreds of units this year on transit equity, on other elements of the poverty reduction strategy. And I'm proud of that, and I stand behind it, and we'll get it done. Thank you, Deputy Mayor.
All righty. No further speakers?